and then I went to Seligman. I went to several other businesses. I went to Seligman, and I didn't know what motel, but I just based on there was a sign out front of this one, and I just figured that would attract her, and so I went there, and I said, because we didn't even know if that was true. We heard about the Seligman Euros thing. We didn't at this point. We didn't know anything about the Euro. If the Euros, we thought it was a made up thing, and I went. This lady came out of the office, and I said, "This is going to sound like a crazy question if it isn't true, but did somebody try to pay for the Euros?" And she's like, she asked who I was and stuff, and she's like, "Come in," and super helpful. And she showed me, first of all, she told me the whole story before she showed me the video, and her husband was there too. The guy that you see in the, she's the owner, but the guy in the video is her husband. And, he's from Holland. So the Euros thing wasn't all that weird to them.
Right.
And she told me, she's like, it's very common for people here to have Euros because it's all European tourists that time of year going to the Grand Canyon. And she's like, it's just, you don't get people wanting to pay in Euros. And, but she, the thing is, she was kind of on their radar before she pulled in, and she sat, it's a small motel, and it's got like a horseshoe, parking lot in the interior, and the check-in things at the end. And she sat in the car for 30 or 40 minutes when she pulled in. So that kind of like got their attention. They're watching her on surveillance, just wondering what was going on, because they noticed the car was filled too. And then she finally came in, and this this is a missing persons case, right? And it's search and rescue, and it should not be turning into what it's turning into. But PJ and Elias have both tried to say that I won't take their calls, and when I talked, PJ's hung up on me twice when I hit the record. I told him I'm recording the call. He hangs up on me, and he sends me these long emails. But he wants to be in charge of the search and rescue. He thinks he knows the answers. He knows her best. He's not certified in search and rescue. Incident command system takes a lot of training. There's a lot of people that you can get killed out there. There's a logic to this. There's technology. And all I wanted from him was answers about Chelsea, because the more I could understand about her, the more I could put into the lost person
profile, right? And get a profile of her, right?
That would give me the best chance to find her, and to give Coconino County the best chance. But to this day, he's told me he's writing a book, and he's added this and that. And then once he gets enough money to hire his own PI, that he'll get back to
the GoFundMe account that's still active.
But what I've done is I've really been trying to save his ass the whole time, because Chelsea is on the run because of him. And she makes that very clear, that she's running from a abusive ex. She puts that in text messages, and she specifically says his name. And then in the video, which you're about to see, where I went ahead, he told me today, he told me in a Facebook group, go ahead and play the audio then. I mean, okay.
All right, we're going to play it.
Exchanges gifts. I was trying to stay off the grid. I don't really want an ex to find me. 203. Actually, I threw out the SIM card. I just was leaving an abusive relationship, so I did not have any track. That's why I actually don't think this is a very good idea.
So she basically says, and I'll kind of narrate it, or if you want to, Steve, I'll let you do it since you're
So she says that, I don't want an ex to find me. I mean, it's the big part of the first one. And then she says, in the second, she's like, when he asked her phone number, and she says 203. Then she goes, "Oh, I threw out the SIM card," which she did. I know she threw out the SIM card in Wickenburg, and then she says, because I'm in an abusive relationship. So, and I know that I'm not even looking at the chat, but I know he's going to say, "Oh no, he's talking about a different boyfriend." But there's text messages. There's a group text message with a lot of text in it. And she's talking about him, because she's talking about the 9 days before she left San Diego, where she's scared. She hasn't slept in 9 days because she doesn't know if he's coming by that day to pick up his stuff and whatnot. But he's trying to say everything was great before that. So, and the thing that's so frustrating is that I know he he didn't do something to Chelsea. I know he was not in California. It's in the report. He was, you know,
I'm gonna answer one of my mods real quick. He says, "How does Steve know she threw out the SIM card?" She just said it in the video. I threw the SIM card out. I'm gonna play the video again so everybody can hear it. We get it clear and loud up here so everybody can hear it. I know it's a little tough to hear because the audio is low. Steve had to record this on his phone, so I'm gonna play it again. So if anybody wants to go back to listen to it, but she literally says in the video, "I threw out the SIM card." She goes, "Never mind, I threw out the SIM card." So
when she says 203, she starts to say her
phone number.
The next thing she says is, "Never, I threw out the
SIM card." Right. All right, we'll play it again so we can hear it.
Unless you take euros, or anyone in town exchanges euros. I was trying to stay off the grid. I don't really want an X to find me. 203. Actually, I threw out the SIM card. I just was leaving an abusive relationship, so I did not have to track. That's why I actually don't think this is a very good idea.
I threw out the SIM card because I'm trying not to be. I got out of abusive relationship. I threw out the SIM card. I'm trying not to be tracked. That's what she said.
Yeah. So I actually don't think this is a good idea. And that's when she, you know, the very first one I released is where she said, "I actually don't think this is a good idea." She takes her debit card back, and so he can say what he wants, but what's so frustrating about it is he's interfering with the search and rescue efforts. Where a month or 6 weeks ago, we could have been out there when she's still alive, if she's in that search zone, and he's got no reason. Why? Just let us do our job. Like, why interfere? I know that he wasn't in Arizona because San Diego narcotics unit was surveilling him, and I'll just be honest, they were surveilling him, and he was in San Diego that day, and they provided in the report.
Yeah,
Diego narcotics unit said he's under surveillance for other reasons, and he was in San Diego, so he didn't do anything to her. It's just really frustrating that he's interfering with the goddamn investigation and the search and rescue efforts when we could have made so much progress if he would just been giving us these answers and not start all this bullshit online. And that goes on today. Now he's got groups that are buying into him and like, oh, the GoFundMe should have been. He had no business doing a GoFundMe. He does not need to be searching for her. Leave it to professionals to do. He was telling me, well, you're not going to get anywhere without the information I know. And then Elias was telling me, I've got videos that you have to see. He's going to gas stations, telling them, be on the lookout for a 2000 black Camry. Just all this crap that he's leaving around town. And it just muddies the waters, and he's not being honest. And I tried to talk to him. I tried to save him. I didn't want to release that because I was like, but he challenged me. He called me out on it. So he told me to release it. So I released it.
Again, it's just, I wanted to get on top of this stuff, like I said, because I felt like it was going to spin out of control, like Idaho. There's so much conspiracy and so much bad things. People were like yelling at shaming the victims and the parents, and they're going, how dare can these parents go on, CNN and News Nation? All they want is to be on camera. I'm like, these are people, they're real people that lost their daughter and their son, their daughters and their son. And if I was, believe me, I don't have children, but if I did, I would be if that was that big of a case, I would be on the news every single day fighting for the truth for my daughter or my son to get that out there. And I saw this and I said, this is going to spin out of control. I cannot allow this to happen. So I got to get transparency out there and get as much information out as we can. And that's why I really do appreciate that you're doing this with me, Steve, because now we have full transparency in this case. We cut down the conspiracy and all the lies, and hopefully someone watches this and they see or hear something. They either get in touch with me, with you, or the Coconino Sheriff Department. And let's find Chelsea.
Literally I'm out of the case. Call the Sheriff's Department or call Kelly, the investigator. Listen, Kelly, Kelly's great. I have no problems with Kelly whatsoever. He's doing his job. And the thing is, like, families, there's no playbook for this. And families never think they're going to go through a missing persons case. They don't know, like, hey, what is the best thing to do? Listen, I do have a different approach than most private investigators do. But the thing is, most private investigators, like, I only do missing person cases. Most private investigators are chasing cheating spouses and this and that.
Right. Excuse me.
I only do this, and I'm telling you, you know, that's why I have 15 missing persons I've found in 2023 alone, is because I throw all the information out there. Unless, like, I'm working one right now, and that I know is a crime. I'm not going to do that. But if it's not a crime and they deemed early this was not a crime, go to page 1 of this report, and it shows it says right on there it's not classified as a now I can't even find the report, but it's there it is. It says severity non-criminal. You know, it's a non-criminal case, and in that case, when you file a missing persons report, they put out a missing persons poster. That is a call to the public for help. And when you do that, you lose your anonymity. I'm sorry. I mean, you know, like, it's just part of it. And some stuff's going to come out, but you know, when the person's found, everybody's going to forget all that.
Yeah.
And but it helps. It's not, we're not trying to get in your business, but there's, again, it goes back to lost person behavior. There's repeating patterns and everything. When we see people with schizophrenia, we know they're hiding, and we know the types of places they're hiding in. When we see people with autism, we know that they're by water or they're by trains. And, you know, when there's actually science behind this stuff, and people think we're getting in their business, and they're like, how dare you say that my daughter has mental health problems? It's important because the people, there's not just us out there. Like, I knew there was 2 other search groups out there. I knew that Julie, I didn't know them yet, but I knew they were out there, Julie, and I knew that the Curly's, the Legion Club was out there, and they need to have that information. Otherwise, they're just like wasting their time, and it's a race to find her and find her alive. So that information helps, and keeping things super secret is just watch. This thing is gonna winner. The first, I mean, this thing is fading away now, you know, and it's a shame.
It's not going to, because I'm going to keep beating the drum here on LTL. It's not going to. I mean, I know I probably won't do the streams as frequent as he is, but I'm going to at least try to do one once a week and just keep reviewing this case and talking about it until Chelsea's home. You know, and that's what we need to do. I'm not going to give up. So we have a response, and I'm going to read this and then give you kind of my thought, and if Steve wants to extend his thought on this as well. So PJ put a statement out there. He said, I'm not comfortable with putting my voice on air because I'm a country singer, and it could ruin my career potentially. I will talk to both these guys on the phone, but I don't want to be I don't want him taking what I say on the phone, sharing it and cutting it up and twisting it. He is all defensive about me, saying that I am not helping her. I gave him everything. I gave them every question they asked. I literally have an email that details. He can ask me any question he wants there. I don't know that. She said that she was trying to go off the grid because of me, but we argued a little bit about the middle neighbor. She said she wanted to find her, but then I'm breaking up a promise, and I guess I'll stop. Please relay these messages to LTL. Tell him, said thank you and God bless him, and I will call him tomorrow. I have a lot to process tonight. See, here's the thing. This is what I think about PJ right now. You know, I'm not out here to try to bash on you or anything. We think that you have important details that you could fill in gaps, and that's why, you know, it's always like you do this thing. You talk on social media, but you don't want to talk to us. And I think that we've been very nice about offering the platforms, and I think doing it live and getting it out there, you know, it's so everybody can see it, because obviously you are a piece of the puzzle to this. I'm not implicating you in being involved in anything. We just want to hear from you. You know, we want to hear your thoughts on this, and we'd like to hear some information because you were the closest person to Chelsea for 6 months. So maybe we can understand there were things that might be going on that could help fill in the gap and help fill in the investigation to where Chelsea is. So that's really my thought on it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, the things I wanted to ask him are the same things I would ask the parents, the sister.
Sure.
It's literally off a form. I want to know, you know, what her mental health was like leading up to this. I want to know what their conversations were about. I want to know what caused her to be scared those 9 days. I want to know why she did leave him, and she did. She you know, listen, he can say what he wants. They were going to get back together once they got back from Tennessee and whatever. But she said, she writes, she's like, I'm sorry, like, but I've got to go. And she can't deal with it anymore. And I want to know, you know, if there, what her alcohol and substance use was like. I want to know if when he talked, you know, so we were under the impression he never, like, we never talked to her there. Now we find out that when she was on this trip, he did talk to her.
Yeah.
And that's really frustrating to find out that when she was in a motel and they were talking, and we didn't know that till like a couple weeks ago. And how long into this are we? So every day, every minute counts in search and rescue. You know, search and rescue rarely goes beyond 72 hours. And then they're like, sorry, but the probability of, and here we are at months and he's still jerking around with not giving us any answers.
I think that he is getting his kicks of being on social media and putting himself out there and not wanting to face up. And I'm going to look in the camera. I think that you're making this about you, PJ.
Yes.
I want you to stop. It's
he
not
with the line, I'm a country singer and it could ruin my career.
Yeah, it's not about you.
Career. This is about a girl who is most likely deceased, and she doesn't deserve to be laying out in the forest and about to be covered with snow. You know, fuck your career, which is non-existent anyways, and do the right thing and give us the information, and we're going to leave you alone. Then you go do what you want to do. We're not trying to implicate you. I've already said I know from San Diego Narcotics Division that you were in San Diego when she went missing. I know that, and I know the other guy that's our investigation with you. So we're not trying to pin you on anything. Just wanted the answers. Now it's too late. I'm out. So I don't need to talk to you. Don't call me. Don't write me anymore. Like, I told you when I needed the information, but I'm not part of it anymore. But I would give your true and accurate statement to Kelly, and I would do it like right away.
Yeah. That's all we want. I mean, just to fill in some of those gaps. But you've been bouncing around everywhere on everybody's platform. You leave comments on my thing. You have my number. You and I have texted. I've had phone conversations with you. I've treated you very respectfully. We just want to fill in some of the information that could fucking help solve where this young lady is. Like, that's it. I mean, that's all that we want. We just want to bring her home. And if she's in any type of distress, then we need to help her. We need to help